I'm Lisa Hoffman, curator for the Pryor Art Gallery. We are thrilled to host the National Electric Football Game Museum from Spring Hill, Tennessee. We want to say thank you to our sponsors, the Columbia State Community College Foundation, for making this happen. Tudor Games has donated an electric football game for our tournament that you can play a game in a tournament and win that game. So we thank these sponsors very much for making this happen. Chris LeMay, the curator for the National Electric Football Game Museum, lives in Spring Hill, Tennessee. He's a 20-year collector of the game. And 5 years ago, in 2019, he founded this museum. Pryor Art Gallery is excited to be the first to host this wonderful exhibition. Chris LeMay has worked at 1220 Exhibits as an exhibition designer and fabricator. He worked for the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville, the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio, and the Green Packers Hall of Fame in Lambeau Field in Wisconsin. So he came here to the Pryor Art Gallery with some great exhibition design experience in addition to his hobby and love for all things electric football game related. So the long-term plan for Chris is to have a public permanent place for this museum. And with that, Chris will speak for a few minutes about our special guests that are coming tonight, and thank you and enjoy.
When you turn the game boards on, it makes that buzzing sound, and that's what, of course, what vibrates the fields and makes the players move. So that's kind of why we use that buzz word a lot. There have been books written about the game that's called The Unforgettable Buzz. You hear, when you get involved in it, you have buzzball tournaments. So again, that's just kind of that catchword that has become very familiar with electric football. Tonight, like I say, this is kind of, it's 25 years ago. I started collecting the game boards, the teams. Of course, it was a game that I played when I was a kid. I played when I was like, 12, 13, 14 years old. And then kind of got out of it, of course lost track, but then again in '97 I found out that they were still making the games. I actually saw one on a shelf in a Toys R Us store. And so yeah, it's like, man, I used to play that game. I'd like to have one again. So I got into it and then discovered all the people that are still playing the game. And I have gone to a lot of conventions, traveled around different parts of the country to play in leagues and tournaments and conventions. And so yeah, for the last 25 years, like I say, I got into the collecting the game boards, the teams, and painting the figures. So this is my collection. What you've got here is my collection for over the last 25 years. And of course tonight we're very fortunate to have Carrie Wu. If you're familiar, if you're Legos, if you're familiar with Lego Masters, Carrie Wu appeared on season 3 of Lego Masters, and I commissioned him to build this stadium. He built this Lego stadium, and he's going to come talk to you in just a few minutes. And then also we got Ron Mango here, who lives in Murfreesboro. Yeah. And he hand paints a lot of his teams. So, again, that's where, the art of electric football is kind of in the figures. I mean, there's a large community of people out there who paint the figures. So that's kind of how we get into the art of electric football. Like I say, I'll be around demonstrating the games. If you have any questions you want to ask, be sure and look me up and find me. So I think now we'll turn it over to Kerry.
Thank you.
And he can talk to you about the Lego.
This is pretty impressive for Chris to have all this. I saw him at his house, and I think he had all this in his kitchen. Just kidding. So if you have a kitchen table, you can have this as well. So anyway, thank you, Lisa, for hosting, and what a great space and all that. And it really does my heart good to see the generations here, because I think electric football has been around, 75 years? Lego's been just celebrated 90 years. And so for us old guys, we just really have a lot of fun because we're just big kids at heart, tall kids anyway. So anyway, Chris reached out to me I saw him at a Lego store and he bought this board and he said, "Oh my God, what is that, an electric football thing?" And he said, "Yeah, I'd like to have a football stadium." So this is the LeMay stadium here. And he's got all the naming rights and all that, but it's been modernized a little bit. It's a takeoff of soccer stadium over in England. But we had to make a LeMay worthy with scoreboards, and of course with Chris, you gotta have a luxury suite. And so there it is. And but when I came out to see his house, it was pretty amazing, the history. And then you hear from this gentleman how, just talking about the whole art of just adding pieces and making things go up and down the field, how it's such really an art. It really is. A lot of engineering, a lot of passion. And so if anything, we all have passions in life. I just, you need to kind of embrace your passion. For me, I'm a photographer, a commercial photographer. And somebody asked me, "How'd you get into Lego?" So I've only been doing it for 3 years now. So I was at a photography conference in Las Vegas, and this guy named Mike Kelly, he's in Los Angeles architectural photography. He said everybody needs to have some kind of creative outlet, to have, be passionate about. For him, it not only does architectural photography, but he also does aviation photography. So he's the guy who will stand at the airport and photograph 100 planes coming in and out of the sky, puts it all together, and makes prints and what have you. So, it was in November, so I came back and I said, I need to probably mess around a little bit of Lego that my son had. He built a little concert stage, and of course I added speakers to it. I hadn't thought anything about it. It was like 7 years ago. And so there's a postcard that came in the mail. It was the 10th annual Lego contest at the Nashville Public Library. And I saw it was sponsored by a construction company. Of course, being an architectural photographer, I thought, a little bit self-serving. I said, Mom, I need to win this contest. And so I built a little city, Nashville, with cranes and all that, and won 3 first places. And of course, that fueled the fire. I started going to all the yard sales, buying up all the Legos I could do, and what have you. Contest came back around the second year, and reconfigured a city, and again won some more first places. And of course, that's just pouring gasoline on the fire. But anyway, a friend in the local Lego group, we're they're kind of casting people for being on a season of Lego Masters, and we just finished season 3, and it was a lot of fun. We were cast as the oldest guys. Of course, he was a lot older than me, older than anybody you guys in this room. But so we're the grandpappies, and if anything, just shows that us old guys, whether you're old or young, if you have some kind of passion, just embrace it. Especially for young kids and parents, you gotta let your kids, if they're passionate about something, if there's drawing or, making model cars, painting electric football figures, look at this tall kid over here. I mean, he's just having a ball of his life. Parents, if you don't let your kids be creative, they're just gonna go in the corporate world and do PowerPoint for the rest of their lives. So, just let them. Somehow when we grew into adults, you say you gotta quit drawing, you gotta quit building. So Lego is just a lot of fun. It's just a medium. And I'm just delighted that Chris reached out to me. It was great to meet him and his family. And then we're able to blend our two loves together, taking something as iconic as the art of the buzz, electric football, and merge it with Lego and have something that will hopefully inspire others to do the same kind of thing. You don't have to build a stadium, but you can they say you can take 6 Lego blocks and there's like 385,000 possible combinations. So anyway, just let your imagination roam, and if anything, that's my message to you, that, you don't have to be you guys can get an electric football like tonight. Just let your parents know about it. And certainly with Lego, you can start at any age and all that. So thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Chris, for hosting. And you guys, I'm just blown away by just this history in here. So it's just a delight and honor to be here. And so thank you so much. I'll be around as well if you want to ask any questions about Lego and whatever, if I can inspire you and what have you. So thank you, Chris.
You're welcome.
All right.
So our other guest that we have here tonight is Ron Mango. And I don't know, it was a couple of years ago, I guess, that I guess I came across him on Facebook and found out that he lived in Murfreesboro. I was like, well, man, I gotta go see him. You know, at least talk to him about electric football, because he hand paints all his own teams, and I mean, they're incredible paint jobs. I mean, he's an artist, and he not only does electric football figures, but he does drawings, paintings of animals, you know, a lot of different things. So he is a true artist. And so he agreed to come here tonight and do the demo of how he paints his teams. So yeah, we're very fortunate that he was able to come. So Ron, you want to come up?
Sure. All right, just to let you know how old I am. Okay, 1977 is when my adventure started with electric football. My brothers, they kind of lost interest in this game, vibrating game that made this noise that these team players went all over the place. Well, you know, the first 2 years, I kind of fiddled with it in 1975, 76. And then I started thinking, I said, well, you know, this could be something that I could take down the road and actually make a interest in it and a hobby. So my mind started clicking, and I started collecting the teams, and I said, well, how can I bring realism and the realisticness of the NFL or any football into my world that I enjoy so much. And as the years went by, I started thinking, well, maybe I can build a stadium. Maybe I can make it look like an NFL. And I started doing my techniques and bringing stuff in, and I make everything from raw material. There's nothing bought. I use cardboard, I use balsa wood, I use styrofoam, whatever it may be. And then I create everything from little pieces and I put it all together. Electric football has been my passion since 1977. I've been doing it ever since. When Chris came over to my house and found me, it blew my mind, because I was like, okay, I'm in my own world of electric football. There's nothing else out there like mine. And as soon as I started finding out, well, there's tournaments and there's guys doing this, and the creation, and to have a game that has gone the test of time from 1940s and still going strong today, there ain't very many games out there that you can say has made it through all that time and is still going. And it's because of our passion when we were kids. When we were kids, we played this game, and it just got to where we stayed kids when we grew up, and we're still kids. When it comes to electric football, I mean, we play it like we were playing it when we were little kids, and we still do. I play solitaire. I don't do competition too much, but like I said, I brought it in my own world, and I hand paint everything because it's so much enjoyable to do the creation part of it and do the art. That's what makes my passion and what keeps me going and interest. And I built a stadium that Chris came over and saw that blew his mind, because it looked just like an NFL stadium. If you look at the stadium I built, everything in it has come from an NFL stadium picture or something like that. But so that's where my journey goes. I hand paint everything, like I said, and you know, the passion goes on. It goes on through all of us. And thank God there's guys out there like Chris and everybody else. And if you go on social media, you'll blow your mind. There has to be over at least 20,000 members out there of guys that are still doing electric football today. And the tournaments that you think you know throughout this country, there is hundreds of tournaments and leagues and people that the big kids are actually doing. And it's great to see the younger generation here that never heard about electric football and now starts to see what we grew up and how great that game was and still going on. And I'm here at hand painting. If you have any questions, I can show you all the steps I do on hand painting, how I create the logos, and you know, I've refined my painting techniques down to a toothpick now. And when I paint with a toothpick, you know, my hands are they're not as steady as they was when I was 14 years old. So yeah, hopefully none of the teams will change their logo from back when I started, because I don't think I could do that again. But yeah, I appreciate it. It's such an honor to be here and be involved in something that we enjoyed from when we were kids, to see all the history in this place and see how it's developed and how strong it's going. And I thank Chris for bringing me into this world, because I never knew it existed outside mine. So, awesome job.
Well, like I say, that's pretty much, definitely want to thank everybody for coming. You know, be sure and grab you some hot dogs and some snacks out here while you're here. And like I say, if we haven't, you know, you can challenge somebody to a tournament if you want to play a game against somebody and register to win we got the game board that Tudor Games was gracious enough to donate us to give away, and of course a trophy that will be given away towards the end of the exhibit. And like I said, we're going to be here through March the 3rd. And I just want to say a personal thank you to Lisa Hoffman and the staff of the college, because you know, I never thought, you know, this would be something that we could do here. But I am very thankful for them giving me the opportunity to do this exhibit. And like I say, enjoy it.